I'm still Dr. Epps, wearing different clothes. You don't know it, but it's a week later. I'll just remind that what we've done already is take our template, open it up. If we had to put it together, we did it with sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, sheet 5, and so on, ending with right bottom, number 12. We taped it to our plywood that was cut to size for width. Now we would have to cut it down here as well. And then we take the scissors and we cut out the large island. Just leave it there for now. We cut out the small island and we cut out the inspection portal. We take our jigsaw and actually cut them out, and then we'll have 3 holes in this plywood and it becomes our lid. We paint it liberally with several coats of a rubberized, heavy moisture resistant paint. And now we come to having something like this black lid and this black island that came in your kit. So we have the plywood islands already lowered into the lid. At this point, we want to make sure our tank is level. So it's good. Beverly, I'm just leveling here and I'm leveling here, and I already know it's good. And we're going to look in the tank, and I want you to look for the red spot on the duckbill. Everybody say it with me. Red spot on the duckbill. Red spot on the duckbill. And also say with me, wastewater outlet hole. Wastewater outlet hole. Those two have to be level. So I'm going to lift up the back of the tank, ask Beverly to come over here. I'm going to lift up the back of the tank lid. And she'll come in and show you where the red dot is. I can probably sort of point with my finger. The red dot is on the duckbill, and you might even be able to see it through this hole as well, Beverly. I want you to lift up and come up here. And show the red dot through there. And I'm going to lift it up quite high now, just to make sure that, now that's all the higher I can lift it because of the internal pipes. See why we're calling it a duckbill. Can you shoot from this side? So I'm going to tap the tail piece, and it's the duckbill because it juts out. Okay. Now, I want to let you know that depending on where your toilet kit was assembled, you may have a different looking tailpiece and duckbill. Here is the kind that John is using in Africa. He's the original inventor. I used PVC pipe fittings. He makes them of fiberglass, and this is really nice. I've taped it and propped it together because it's still in 2 pieces now. But when it's 1 piece, it'll all just look like this area. And I've set another tank up and roughly laid on a piece of plywood and just took the shell of a fiberglass toilet. And when Beverly comes forward, you would have something like this. And I'm wanting you to see the red dot on this duckbill. Because this duckbill is so very thin, as opposed to my thick ones made out of PCV pipe. I had to raise up the area to put on the duckbill. But when you get a duckbill, it will have a red dot on it, and the red dot is the point from which you level. So it would be like this, and you would rest your level on the duckbill at the red point, which is the lowest curve on the duckbill. Take the level to the side of the tank. Looks like we've got it about there. And then you'd make a mark underneath the level right here. And that's how that would work. That would be that duckbill. It's a really good one. And mine has exactly the same function. Now, I'm going to slide the lid so I can get into it. And here's what you're going to do. Beverly, you may be right here. You're going to take a level. Same thing I did over there. It's just a little bit more awkward. You're going to put the level into the tank, and you're going to rest one end of it on the red dot on the duckbill, because that red dot is correct water level. And then you're going to peek in, and you're going to lower or raise your level till you're at the right spot to have the bubble right in the lines level. You'll have a pen handy, maybe a helper, and you're going to reach in and you're going to make that mark. That mark is now at the same level as the red dot on the duckbill, isn't it? And that's why we used our level. Now, I'm going to read you something, and then I'm going to say more about it. I want this to be recorded very correctly. Get the water level correct is critical to the proper operation of this toilet. Water level must be the same at 2 points. The red dot position and the wastewater outlet level. I want to demonstrate over here something about where you put a hole. I just picked this piece of plywood because I had it. It already has a hole in it. I'm pretending this is the wall of a tank. I'm pretending that this is, say, a wall of a tank, like this. So over here, I'm pretending that this is the wall of the tank, and I've made this hole. And I think I've got the hole at the correct height, say from the floor. When I put a pipe in this hole and I expect water to flow out, I have now changed the height by the thickness of the pipe, which I know is 1/8 of an inch, or about 3 millimeters. I have to allow for having raised this level. If I want the water to flow out at a given point, and then I put this in, I'm going to have to lower my hole a little bit to accommodate that, because water's going to flow out at the lowest level. It doesn't care where you made the hole. You put something in it, you're going to raise up the point at which the water can actually flow out. We're going to use that reminder information when we're working here. After we find that level point from the red dot over, and we make the hole, we're going to put an outlet pipe in it. That's going to raise it a little bit. So we have to allow for the height of the thickness of the pipe raised up the height of our hole. So we have to make the hole a little bit lower. And then, one more time, we're going to lower it again. We're going to lower it one wants to allow for the pipe thickness. And we're going to lower it one more time because we'd rather be safe. We can always raise the water level by twisting the outside fitting and making the water have to come up higher before it can get out. But you cannot lower the water level without making a new hole. So, duckbill red dot to side of pipe, mark, drop down the thickness of your pipe, mark, drop down another 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch mark and make your hole there. Now, there's one more way, and if Beverly will step around here again, that's the leveling way. You can also do it the measuring way. I'm going to lift the lid again. I've actually already measured, so I know what the answer will be. Pardon. We have pollen here in Georgia this time of year. This is the island. This is the lid. So the lid is what's going to be over here. If I measure from the red dot, and we just want to give them the general idea, Beverly. If I measure from the red dot to the tank lid, I know that that's, well actually the way that it's built, I will measure up into the island and then subtract the lid. So it's 4 7/8. The lid is 5/8 of an inch thick. So 4 7/8 minus 5/8. It's 4 2/8 from the lid to the red dot. So I can come over here and measure down 4 2/8 or 4 1/4 inches and make a mark. That mark should be the same mark as the mark I got by leveling. If it's not, I need to re-go through the procedure. It's a good way to check yourself. Get the mark by leveling and then get the mark by measuring downward. Remember 2 things. First, this gives you same level, but to make the actual hole, you have to go lower to allow for the thickness of the pipe wall, and you have to go lower because you can always raise the water level, but you can't lower it. So 2 different reasons we're going to go lower. And then you can use a hole saw, or you can use your jigsaw and make the hole for your wastewater outlet. We've made such a thing out of this because it's crucial to have those levels right to get a good flush. Now, installing the pipe islands, here's what we did. First, we lifted a big island and we lifted it up and over and into the hole so it would rest on the plywood. And then we lifted. We won't need any help for this one. You may need help for this one, and you may need a ladder. This one's easy. We lift the island and we put it into the tank. And then we can screw it down. We're not going to silicone it down yet because we still want to be able to remove things until we're ready for the final go-around. Now we're going to look at constructing the biofilter tank. I've already made the hole in the lid. I'm running a 2-inch pipe out of the digester tank into the biofilter tank. So of course I'm using a 2-inch 90-degree elbow to come into it. I used a uniseal. Sometimes I like them and sometimes I don't. It's your choice. Maybe you just want to make the hole the exact size and silicone around it. Here I thought uniseal would be a good way to go. You have to follow the uniseal instructions on how big to make the hole to get it in. Here comes my down sloping pipe into here and the fitting, and then I used a uniseal again here. If I'd used non-uniseal, then I would caulk really well around here, and I would caulk really well around here. Inside of here is the stand pipe that comes up and elbows onto here. Here then would be fittings that would go off to my soakaway. Inlet, outlet. We'd be sure that we put in the screen, because the rising water after it comes in is going to push that styrofoam up with a lot of pressure. We don't want the styrofoam to come back into here, so that's why we have the screen. And we have an airtight seal, and this has to be fastened very securely so the rising pressure doesn't push it off. That's our biofilter tank coming from the digester tank and going out to our soakaway. Now we move back over here. Okay, we'll pause it.